This is a lash lift kit review and a how-to video, just rolled in, combined into one. I've combined this video into a review video and a how-to video because then I can just talk about each product as I use it and you can see it in action, which is really good. Okay, so this video is going to be full of helpful tips from Stacy Lash and tips from myself. This is the Lash Lift Kit from the company Stacy Lash. I have used Stacy Lash lashes and glue before. Love their glue, the Strong Evolution. This kit has everything that you need in order to do at least 20 lash lifts. This Lash Lift Kit costs about $25 US at the time of making this video, which is the end of 2019. So going through the kit, you receive lash glue, lift solution 1 and 2, nourishing oil and cleansing water, 3 clean tools or combs, or known as lift lash combs. You get 5 sizes of lift pads, and that's actually quite a nice little bonus because I've had kits before where you only get 3 different sizes to play with. In this box here of the kit you get 20 pairs of eye pads, 20 mascara wands, and you get some micro brushes as well. The final thing I'm showing you here is the unique lash lifting tool. I used this tool a lot and I really like it. There are other tools you can use in this industry. If you're a lash artist, you may already have a hooked type of tweezer, but getting this little tool with a really nice fine hooked edge on it already in the box is just really good. The other thing I really like about this kit is you get very detailed instructions. It's not brief, it's specific, everything is covered. Okay, so we're going to start with the very first step, which I start by cleansing the eye area and the lashes. I do this to remove any mascara, makeup, any oil or dirt, and I use the Stacy Lash shampoo. This lash shampoo doesn't actually come with the kit, but there is the cleansing water in the kit also. I'm showing you the lash shampoo because I actually use it before applying lash extensions and I quite like it. This comes in a smaller and bigger size. Step 2 is where you apply the eye patches along the lower lash line. This is in order to protect and tuck away the lower lashes from the lifting process. We only want to lift the upper eyelashes. So you get 20 pairs of these within the kit and they are of good quality. They are ultra thin, they are about 0.6 millimeters thick, and they have a gel base and a non-woven top. I have ordered this style of eye pads before and I've used them multiple times with eyelash extensions. So I do know that these eye pads are good quality. They are actually so comfortable and not too sticky under the eye that you can easily lift them back up and adjust them if you need to. They're just one of the nicer iPads to use in the industry, I feel, which I think is a really nice bonus to get within your kit. So moving on to the third step now. I now have to choose the right size of lift pad. So I have to choose the right size for my client's lashes. This is where you want to carefully figure out the size because you want a noticeable lift, but you don't want the lashes sticking straight up so that the client looks like they're permanently startled. It's just not fun for them if it's touching their eyelids. The Stacy Lash instructions advise to place the pad as closely to the lash line as possible and bend the lashes back over the pad. So if the lashes reach the middle of the pad or slightly over, that's the correct lift pad size. I do use this method to ascertain which is the right lash lift size for my clients, and I've achieved some beautiful lash lifts. After choosing the right size for the lift pad, you apply the glue to the bottom of the pad from end to end. Okay, so here I have a tip for you. In the past, when my lash glue hasn't kept the lift pads down because it hasn't been strong enough, I've applied the glue to the eyelid and then onto the actual lift pad. So I've kind of double glued. I did that the first time I used this kit and I didn't need to. It actually took a lot to get the glue that I used off of the client's eyelid. So My recommendation here is to just follow the instructions, only apply this glue to the bottom of the lift pad because it is definitely strong enough to keep that pad down and stuck to the client's actual eyelid. This is a tip for you if you do have difficulty with sticking down the lift pads. Apply the glue to the bottom of the lift pad and then wait 10 to 20 seconds. The longer that you wait, so 5, 10, 20 seconds for the glue to actually dry out, the better it adheres. Okay, so now we move on to step 4. After the lift pad is securely adhered to the eyelid, I apply glue to the top of the lift pad, which is where the lashes are going to be stuck to. You don't need to use too much because you don't want to block the lash lifting solution from working on the lashes. I mean, here's something else to consider. I normally apply the glue right along the actual glue pad and then I start pushing up the lashes onto the pad. You can instead apply sections of glue and lift sections of lashes and separate those out, because the longer that the glue is on the pad, the stickier it gets, which is great for lifting but not so much for separating the lashes. So if I worked from the outer corner, by the time I get to the inner corner they stick back, that's great, but when I try and separate any clumpy hairs, it's actually quite difficult because it's really stuck down to the actual pad. This is because this glue is super strong and really amazing at its job. I mean, that's what it's meant to do. We're meant to have the lashes lifted back. But the longer it takes to lift those lashes back and the fussier that you get, the harder it is to actually separate them. So work in sections and you'll find it's so much easier to work with. You can use the clean tool, which is known as the Y brush, but I really like the lifting wand. I use only the end with the hook on it, and I use it to stick the lashes back, then separate them. I only separate them when the lashes are clumped together. A tip from Stacy Lash is not to apply the glue to the root of the lashes, so it leaves a space where the root of the lash can absorb the lift solution. Step 5. Once the lashes are in place, I use Lift Solution 1. My tip for this is to use the micro brushes supplied, but get out the amount that you need first before touching the lashes. Otherwise, you're double dipping into the jar and you're potentially contaminating the whole jar. I found that the half of a split lash glue ring is the perfect amount of solution needed. You don't get lash glue rings in the kit, but they are reasonably cheap to buy online, and if you are worried about plastic and pollution, you could opt for the silicone versions and wash them out. I want to say one thing about the microfiber brushes. They are very well made as well. I've had microfiber brushes where the fibers on the end have actually come off in the past. They're not well made. These are very nice microfiber brushes. Stacy Lash advises to only apply the solution to the root of the lashes, not the tips, as this can over-process, or known as frying the lashes, and it damages them. My tip is to adjust your times of processing depending on the strength of the lashes. This is in the instructions, but it's not specific, and what I've learned through actually trying this is these guidelines. Brittle or fine lashes need 6 minutes of solution 1 and 3 minutes of solution 2. Medium lashes, 8 minutes of solution 1 and 4 minutes of solution 2. Thick and strong lashes need about 10 to 12 minutes of your solution 1 and then 5 to 6 minutes of solution 2. Now, the first times that I gave the 6 and 3 minutes may seem really short if you've been doing exposure of like 10 minutes and 6 minutes, which can be the standard. But I can tell you it absolutely works on fine lashes. It will lift them really well. After the required time, I remove the lift solution with a clean cotton bud. I don't use a cotton bud with water on it. All I do is I wipe off the solution as clean as I can get it. If you need to use a cotton pad, that is fine to use as well, but I have read somewhere that water neutralizes the solution, so I don't want that to happen. All I want is to thoroughly clean off the actual solution from the lashes until the next step within the lift. You do need to remove as much of the solution as you can from the lashes. You want to avoid overexposure. Step 7. Apply the lifting solution number 2. This is the solution that sets the lift, or you could call it the fixing solution. Wait the required time and then remove solution 2. In the Stacy Lash instructions, they suggest that you cleanse and release the lashes and remove the lift pad at this point within the process. And this is where you're instructed to apply the nourishing oil. Nourishing oil conditions the lashes and it also softens the glue, so it can help with the removal of the glue from the lashes. You can leave the nourishing oil on for 3 to 5 minutes, and you normally find the lashes have just absorbed up that oil, really not a lot to wipe off. However, I do a tint as well because I do find that the lifting process can lighten the lashes. So I don't remove the lashes from the lift pad and I just tint straight onto the lift pad. I get as close as I can to the base of the lashes and I apply my tint and let it process over 5 minutes. The lashes do take up the tint really quickly, so I don't leave it on too long. Then I rinse out the lashes and I apply the nourishing oil. After the nourishing oil, then I cleanse the lashes and remove any residual glue that's left in the lashes. So sometimes there's little bits of glue that is stuck to the lashes. This is where I use the little cleansing comb to brush the glue out. I just use a lint-free pad and I brush the lashes against that and wedge out any remaining glue. You can give the lashes the final brush and a dry with a fan and you can show the client. There are some aftercare instructions that you need to give to clients after having a lash lift. I'll pop those aftercare instructions up for you now so that you can see what you need to do and how to take care of your lashes after a lash lift. And here's some images of the lash lifts that I've done with the Stacy Lash Lift Kit. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.